Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Build-A-Figure CALIBAN as part of the X-Men wave, which is one of those characters where I'm not sure a lot of people really wanted him, but they're really happy to have him. And that's how I feel. Like, I didn't personally care either way if they made CALIBAN, but since they did, I'm very happy they did. You get what I'm saying? It's not like I was really wanting him over other people, but it's a nice release. It's a nice addition to the collection. And surprising enough, it's a really solid figure. There's some things that are really great about this guy. A couple things that are not so great, but there's not a whole lot that's really bad. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. And this guy stands just about 8 1/4 inches, which makes him just about 21 centimeters. So he's got some size on him. Quick comparison, in case you're wondering how he stacks up against your average Marvel Legends build. He's that much bigger. And the sculpt on this guy is super duper good. I want to say some of the parts are reused from Apocalypse. I'm pretty sure I remember saying at the time that Apocalypse looked like he was going to be reused. I think some of these parts are on here. Maybe the arms? I don't remember, and I don't have it handy to check. It doesn't really matter because it's a really good sculpt. This just goes to show, as we've seen in a few releases recently, that Hasbro can put out good anatomy. They can. It has been done. It's right here. Unfortunately, they seem to be reserving that right for only Build-A-Figures, for the most part anyway, and that's very weird. But you can see he's got a lot of girth front to back. That's a necessity for a muscular person. You don't have to be a giant hulky-like guy like this to have that kind of shape. It's very nicely done. His shoulders are nice and broad. His muscles are actually sculpted like muscles. You don't see any weird shelf chests or things like that. It's very nice and anatomically speaking. Very well done. The arms are very clean, very good. The legs, look at this, watch this. Thicker, skinny, a little bit thicker, skinny. That's how legs are supposed to be done. Biggest, next biggest, skinny, skinny. That's how you do it. And it looks great. It gives him the right look because his legs don't look like a bunch of sausage links put together. It's very, very nicely sculpted. Very pleased with that. The hands are sculpted well in concept. This hand's fine. I like the sculpt on this hand plenty. This hand, I just don't like it because it's not a practical hand unless you have a ball for him to hold, kind of. It's just a weird sculpt. Having this finger stick out and then this thumb being straight, it's not a useful type of hand. It doesn't look like the kind of hand anybody would ever make, pose-wise, unless they have arthritis or a weird shaped thing to hold. So I don't get why they do that. Like, give him an open claw hand, like this but open more, or give him a hand like this, which is a more grippy type hand. But why do we have arthritis hands again? It's very strange to me. Very, very minor detail. And then the last thing I want to talk about, well actually second to last thing, is the head. They did a really clean sculpt on the head. I like it. Maybe it's because it's less human and that works. I don't know. But it is a good head sculpt. And then of course it does have that wash on it. Or marbling. I still can't quite tell because it doesn't look like it's a wash. It looks to me like their plastic could just be marbled, but then in some places it is in the recesses. So maybe it's a weird kind of wash that I'm not familiar with. I think it is because you can see it's sticking around the mold lines, the seams there. So it must be some kind of strange wash that just kind of, they let pool and it looks like it's supposed to be there. So that's good. They're shading around the eyes. The mouth is done really well because it's a separate piece that pegs in from the back. And the sculpt around the mouth is very nice. This is what I was talking about, only in opposite for Beast. Beast had essentially the same shaped mouth, only he had like no sculpt work around his face. This guy has that very nice stretched skin around his mouth, and it looks exactly like it should. So excellent sculpt there. And then lastly, the final lastly, is the paint job for his body. It's okay. It's good enough. The pearly white is molded, I believe, everywhere. I think it is. I'm pretty sure we're molded everywhere for the pearly white, so that's a good thing. The red is painted here for sure. Yeah, it's painted here and here and here. The seams, the edges from the red to the white are a little bloody, but otherwise it's good, definitely good enough. It's fine. So aesthetically speaking, this guy gets a 9 out of 10. Some slight room for improvement, but as far as Hasbro figures go, this is what they should be doing. Very nice. As far as accessories go, no accessories. 0 out of 10. As far as articulation goes, let's do it. We have our standard hinge with our peg on top, but the head fits on the body nicely. The neck is is right up there against the head. There's no giant gap in there, so that's good. It does look down some, looks up nicely. Side to side, no problem. Very well done. Shoulders, no issues, all the way up. Full rotation, of course. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, minimal, but he's a thick boy, so that's okay. And then you do get a floaty gauntlet, which I guess is fine. Wrist swivel and hinge, that's fine, same on both sides. Ab crunch, it goes back. It's not really sculpted, but that's because there's not really anything to sculpt there unless you're going to give him an extra set of abs. So I'll give him that. On a plain body, that's okay. And then leaning forward, it's fine. Look at that. You don't have to have giant, like, pizza oven gaps in the articulation. When you do it right, it works nicely. And he doesn't have a giant pot belly that sticks out like he's pregnant and folded in half. See, they can do things right. This is why all of you guys who complain when I point out these flaws, they do it right some of the time. And then the other times they don't. It's right here. It can be done. It's literally right in front of you. This is how it's supposed to be done. It's amazing to me. Like, they can do it. They just choose not to. Waist twist is ugly, but that's a given. That's fine. Hips go, look at that. Look at that. Maybe the best hips out of anyone ever. No, not really, but definitely better than all the Spider-Man figures. Shots fired. Legs don't go very far forward because of the way that's sculpted. It looks good, but they don't go far enough forward. Just enough. I mean, it's probably fine for this guy. He doesn't need to do any high kicks, so that's okay. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee is fine. Shin swivel, it's a little off center. Like, it's kind of angled. Weird. I don't know why they did that. It's at just a slight angle. Not that you're going to use it a whole lot anyway because it's ugly as hell, but it is there if you like it. Ankles go all the way back and pretty far forward, and you get a really solid ankle rocker out of that swivel hinge. So articulation on this guy is... where is it limited? Where was it not great? Oh, the hips weren't perfect, but otherwise it's pretty darn solid. So for a guy like this, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. We probably could have achieved a little bit better in a few places, but all in all, it's really, really strong. So, final verdict on this guy. Yeah, it's a basic design for a character. They didn't have to really try very hard, and it's a character that maybe some people aren't going to care about, but ultimately, this is what a Hasbro Marvel Legends figure should be like. Yes, this is a Build-A-Figure, so I'm not saying everyone should be as big as this guy, but the principles that are employed here should be employed across the line, and it would make their line, as far as I'm concerned, a general success rather than such a spotty hit or miss. Half of the time they're a turd, half the time they're okay type of situation. This is it. This is what you want. I'm going to give this overall a 9 out of 10. This is what you want out of a Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure, and this is what we got, so that is good. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you are not subscribed, you might want to do so because I do have new videos out almost every single day, and I've got thousands of other videos already on the channel just waiting for you. You just have to click on them. They're there. So make sure you check out those things. Make sure you come back for the new uploads, and in the meantime, keep collecting.